So go. Okay, welcome back to another special episode of Keepers of the Gloom. This is the M edition. So this is where we are talking to one of our guys' wives, or as we call them, M's, most important people. And today we have
Kaylee. Plungers M.
Plungers M. Okay, so we got to start with this. Who told who about F3?
So I knew about F3 because my brother, who's part of the Kansas City crew, Mosby, was bringing it to Wichita, and he texted me multiple times and said, "Gotta get Taylor, gotta get your other brother, there, and I gotta have at least one guy from our family there." And I think it was the last week he was here, and he texted me and said, "We really need a guy from the family," and I basically was like, I need you to go to this. You have to go tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And he did.
So put that in context for the people that are watching right now. How long ago was that?
We're coming up just under 3 years now.
Coming up
3 years ago, yeah.
You see how she said we? Like, it's a part of her. This is why we got to.
It really is.
Tell us, on a lighter note, tell us a little bit about your family.
So we've been married for, 11 years now. We've got 4 kids. My brother and sister-in-law are both part of F3 and FIA in Kansas City, so it's kind of been part of our family story for a while. It was never something we really wanted to be involved in or anything. I expected him to join. But it's kind of something that's part of us now and something that our kids are also a part of now as well.
Okay, so you said you kind of heard about it first from your brother.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about F3 when he first told you about it?
Oh, it was crazy. It was ridiculous. Like waking up super early, and at the same time he was stepping into wrecking. So he was doing, this group workout along with doing these really crazy races through the hills of Arkansas and things like that with 50 pounds on his back with these F3 guys. And every time I heard about it, I was like, you're nuts. You're crazy. And yes, that was really all I knew about it. All I heard about it before they started bringing it to Wichita. So it was crazy. Yeah.
Okay. So you knew it was a pretty crazy fitness thing and a little wild. What was Plunger's fitness life like before F3?
Oh boy.
You can answer on.
This would be a lot easier to answer if he wasn't behind the camera.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
No, I think he was fit. He was active. He did a lot of outside work on our property, things like that. He wasn't somebody that was going to go for a run or do like a super hardcore workout. That just wasn't, really his thing at the time. So I was nervous whenever I made him go do that. And I asked him, I was like, "I'm really sorry. He's probably going to throw up. He's probably going to come back and be like, that was the worst ever." And I did feel really bad about making him, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm going off the script here.
Okay.
What was it like when he came back from day one?
So I actually heard about it before. Like he called me as soon as it was over, and I saw the phone, call pop up. I was like, "Oh, here we go. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "How was it?" And he goes, "Oh, it was horrible, but I think I have to keep going back." And I was like, "Really? Are you sure?" He's like, "Oh yeah, this is terrible, but that's a really good group of guys. I think I have to keep going back." And here we are almost 3 years later, and he's been going back ever since. So he did not throw up that Saturday, by the way. I was very proud of him.
I'm sure. I've never seen him do that. Don't expect you to do it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's for sure. Okay. What would you say to you kind of in sorrow and remorse egged your husband on? What do you say to other wives that are out there trying to maybe egg their husbands on either to get involved in a group like this or even just work out?
Make them. Guilt them. Bribe them. Whatever you need to, Honestly, though, at the time, it felt like it was something I was having to give up. Mm-hmm. Like he's going to be gone from the house. I'll have to take care of the kids by myself while he's gone. And initially, that is what it felt like. Oh, that's like the time Dad's going to be away. Mm-hmm. But then the community that he gained, the fitness level that he's gained, and the experiences that he's gained now, our boys and our girls are going, "Well, when do I get to do that? When is it my turn?" And so it's created a culture in our family just from him doing something that I'm not even allowed to take part in this, Mm-hmm. But it's created a culture in our family that I think has affected all of us, including our kids. And so, make them go, make them do it.
Okay.
It'll make them better. Yeah.
So, what was kind of the first thing that you started to notice change in Plunger?
I think, since we've been married, we've been pretty good communicators with each other, like lots of conversations and things like that, probably to the point where we were each other's main friend along with spouse. Like he didn't have a big community of guys that he would talk to and share things with. And with F3, he started getting in these group texts. Slack was, popping up on his phone all the time. Slack is still a bit of a curse word in our house. 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and the phone's popping up. I'm like, tell them to stop. Like, go to sleep. You only have to wake up at 4 a.m. anyways. But yeah, I mean, he just started having this community of guys, and he started, hearing things that they were going through, started sharing things that our family was going through, texting out whenever there was a need, or, letting me know when there was a need in the group, and we'd pray together. And I think just starting to build a community that we hadn't had before. And we've been churchgoers our entire lives, and we had a great church community, but there still wasn't a very strong core group of friends that he had that were really close, that he could really lean on. And really that was the first thing that I think he gained through that process was the group of guys that he had.
So build on that a little bit for me, because we've seen that. I've talked to guys that are elders in churches. We all have come from different church backgrounds and are in different spots throughout the community. And it's really unique. It is really unique. I cannot describe it. The level of depth of relationship that guys that are involved. He sent out a text in the middle of this last session to the guys talking about how.
I saw him typing it up.
I know. I mean, and it was really nice in terms of the fact of you can know a lot of people and it really be superficial.
Correct.
And you not have a lot of depth, and that can be true, sadly, even at church.
Right.
So build on that for me a little bit and talk about how those friendships he's made has improved from your perspective, his quality of life and all of his other relationships with his kids and with you.
Right. So, and I think there is this idea that, hey, we're Christians, we're in church, we've got a church community, so you automatically have these like super deep relationships.
Yeah.
Well, you still don't. That's not an automatically, gained thing by going to church. But I think it's, luckily we're not in like an extreme wartime where all of our men are going off to war and building strong relationships in foxholes. So it's almost like this, recreation of guys in foxholes side by side, helping each other, serving each other, doing hard things together. Yeah. And I mean, whenever you are cheering somebody on with the mother-in-law on their shoulders and and then the things that, yes, I know all these terminologies too, it's ridiculous. If any wives learn this, you'll know all these later. But going through hard things, not even necessarily like, oh, I was so sick and you were there for me. It's like, no, we're gonna like climb this mountain, we're gonna roll down it together, we're gonna carry the cinder block and do all these things. Like there's friendship and community, and like, wow, I can rely on you for something else because you came back for me whenever I was really struggling with that workout. It builds and forges these friendships in really unique ways. And I think, honestly, I think there's a plus in these guys not being from the same church. Yeah. Of different backgrounds, guys who are believers, guys who aren't believers, and all of that coming together going, we're just men together living life. We're all humans dealing with all the daily human stuff of spouses and kids and jobs and everything else. Like, that's the uniqueness that it has, and it is like we're able to do hard things together even though we're not from the same community, from the same race or religion or ethnicity or political affiliation. All these different things that kind of goes out the window whenever you start picking up cinder blocks and doing murder bunnies. I think so. Another
great reference drop. Awesome. So you talked about this earlier about the language and meaning other wives. Yes. Can't really ask this a whole lot. I mean, we talked to Moana's wife earlier, Audra. Yeah. What's it like as the wife of a guy who's in F3, meeting other wives and kind of being a part of that community more broadly?
I think you meet another F3 wife, and you kind of just give each other the look of like, I know, right? Like, oh my gosh, yes. Has he? Right, exactly. Yeah. Have you had buckets of sand in the back of your car? Is the cinder block still in the back of your minivan right now? Because it is in mine. Like, there's just this knowing of like, oh my gosh, all the F3 things, but then also still, but it's still really good, right? Like, that's why we put up with the cinder blocks and the inappropriate workout terminologies that you come home and tell us about. And all these different things that you do is like, there's this workout thing, but there's also this but it's really good for my guy. Is it really good for your guy? And, you know, and the kids are excited and they want to go put a heavy backpack on and they're trying to lift the cinder blocks and everything like that. And seeing that kind of, I guess, investment that the whole family gets from it, even though they're not there, is just, you don't find that anywhere else. It's unique. It's very unique.
So build on that for the people that are watching, that maybe they're a wife at home and they're watching this. They've never been a part of F3. This is their first time hearing about it, is because they're seeing a lady, not a guy out there talking about this. How valuable is F3 for not just your husband? I mean, you can riff on that for a little bit, but even other men just in general, from your perspective.
You know, I mean, obviously it's valuable. I mean, just over GLS for the last couple of days, you've seen a lot of the value and a lot of people coming up going, what is this? The number one thing I think we heard was, this is free. Like, yes, it's a place where you can better yourself and you can grow, and they're not asking you for money. They're going to ask you for a lot of hard work, but you know, nothing else. But I think that the value in it is, like, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. I have a super amazing husband. I didn't send him there going, really hope he really gets better and improves and becomes a better person. Like, that wasn't my thing. I was like, just go do your thing. But if there's marriages or relationships that are hard or struggling, things like that, you're sending them to a group of guys that are going to push them to be better. It's not a bunch of guys sitting around cafeteria going, oh my gosh, my wife is such a pain. How about yours? Like, it's not that. It's like a guy says, man, like, struggling in my marriage. Oh, we did too. Like, what can I do for you? I'm going to text you this week. You have a group of guys that is pushing your husband or your brother or your son to be a better man. And that, to me alone, is like, I'll send my guy off for that, knowing that there's a good level. It's a safety place. Like, not just for the husband, but it's safe for the wives too, of like, not sending them off just to, oh, he's probably back talking me. He's probably complaining about our lives. He's probably, frustrated or whatever. It's a place where he's going to get a perspective from other men who have gone through similar situations, and is going to push him in a good direction, and honestly push him back towards the family, push him back towards the Lord, push him back towards community and things like that. That's it. That's a huge element for me of like, oh yeah, sure, you can go hang out with the guys because I know you aren't going to be going and, okay, I was going to say you're not going to be going and doing stupid stuff. That's not true.
That's not entirely true.
You're going to go do...
I've done some stupid stuff with him.
You're going to be doing so much stupid stuff, but you're not going to be doing things in a way where I'm going to worry about if I was being disrespected or trying to escape our family or our kids or anything like that. It's going to be building up physically, and it's going to be building up also family, community, all that, which is just, it's just a plus. So.
You may have kind of already answered this in all of it, but of all of these questions, we've tried to gear them more towards the M. But I'm going to give you the one that we ask all the guys when we do this interview in a few sentences. And you've probably already answered this, but summarize it for us. Why is F3 so special to you?
I mean, just a community that you couldn't try to create if you tried to. And I mean, just all around results that touch every area of a man's life using really, really hard workouts and fitness. I mean, you really can't. You can go to the Y, you can go to Genesis, you can go wherever. You're not going to get that. It's it's just unique.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for taking some time and doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
For sure.
For those of you that want to know more, you can find out at f3wichita.com.